Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? My name is Craig Otto. I'm a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt. Today we're going to complete our final learning piece or learning content of the White Belt training series. My intentions are to provide basic insights and understanding of operational excellence for those just starting out on your journey. This is the 9th video of what will be 9 out of 10. I like to do a training piece and then a follow-up. So video 9 here will be the last learning piece, and video 10 will be the final follow-up piece. We're going to start out discussing things from the perspective of the Otto model. This is a transformational model. We've learned in the first couple of videos the importance of personal transformation by anchoring your choices to the principles. And then we discussed individual behaviors necessary for achieving excellence that are driven by those choices. And then we discussed the role of operational behavior and setting up the plan for operational excellence. And lastly, the operational behavioral changes towards excellence and how that creates business results that become stronger and stronger over time. All right, so today I want to remind everyone that this is the transformational model, and there's a structure component to this. The first piece to that structure is called value stream analysis, or I usually refer to it as VSA. If you want more information on that, again, video 3 and video 3 follow-up will touch a lot on the VSA transformation. Again, a VSA is just a plan. It's not actually making changes. The next thing we talked about in video 4 and video 4 follow-up is the rapid improvement event. And that is where it takes that VSA plan and goes and executes it. It's where we actually eliminate waste and we reduce that cycle time and improve the lead time. We also mentioned problem-solving corrective action, or PSCA is sometimes what I call it. Other times I do call it quality blitz from every now and then. But that is where the flow stoppers will be evident after we implement lean. That usually makes problems rise to the surface and they become very evident. And those problems are what inhibit flow. And that's why we really make an emphasis to do PSCA to eliminate those flow stoppers and reduce the variation in the process. And through doing all of these things, that's where we have a system that produces the results systematically. So I'm going to jump to this slide very quickly. I want you to kind of keep this in mind that the VSA is kind of a hierarchical event, right? It's at the top, and then below it are the events that get actual change. So just keep that in mind as I'm going to kind of draw this out here. The first thing I'm going to do is kind of show that a VSA is really just a 12-month plan, okay? And what I've done is just taking the days, so you have a 60-day, 120-day, 180-day, all the way out to 360 days, right? So just to give you a timeline of what this VSA action plan looks like. And then as part of the VSA action plan, you have all of these events. Remember, it's a hierarchical system. You identify these events as part of the VSA. So you have rapid improvement events, you have problem-solving corrective action, and so forth. And that happens over the period of the year. And so your VSA is really tracking all of these change events that are happening. And let's dig into the rapid improvement event. I really didn't talk a lot about the structure of it. We just talked about what we do in it. But the rapid improvement event is really a 7-week cycle. The first 3 weeks are known for prep, meaning you're gathering data, talking to the people who do the job, taking times, getting information. And then we have the 1 week of event, which is week 4. And then weeks 5 through 7 are for follow-up. And I'll touch on the importance of that in here in just a moment. So there's your 7-week cycle. So within the VSA action plan, you have these 7-week cycles going on. And again, the problem-solving corrective action events, same thing. Gathering data, getting information for prep, doing event, and then following up to make sure that whatever changes are made sticks. And I just want to tie this back to the Otto model. Again, this is kind of that operational structure. The structure side is the hierarchical value stream analysis with the events below. The strategy side is the value stream analysis itself. And I will say there's other higher events known as the transformation plan, but I didn't get into that, not at this particular time of this training. But there are higher events where we have multiple VSAs that kind of report back to that higher transformation plan. So that's out there as well for strategy. And then we have the execution, which happens through the rapid improvement events and problem-solving events. And all of these things work together as part of your operational behavior to change your culture. And so that's why that all kind of ties together. We're all about transforming and changing culture. And this is the way that we do it. These are the tools that we use and the systems. So let me talk about the value stream analysis. We collected data in video 3 and video 3 follow-up where we had current and future state. So part of follow-up for VSA is getting that confirmed state, seeing what actually is changing. And we will do this in the next video. We will use the kitchen example to gather and collect the confirmed state data. And so I'll touch in more on that in the next video where we have actual data to take a look at. But that is part of the VSA follow-up. Now for the rapid improvement event, we talked about the structure of that, right? During week 4 of the event, again, you have 3 weeks of prep. And what you see here laid out is the topics of discussion and action for week 4. And then after this, we have follow-up. Okay, and that's what I want to talk about now. So we've done in our kitchen event, we did our improvements laid out here. We walked down and did all of this stuff. After that, we need to do follow-up. All right, so let's talk about follow-up. For a rapid improvement event, the reason you do follow-up is to ensure that the changes are effective. So we're going to do a trial run in our kitchen for follow-up. We're going to make sure that this trial run shows the results that we expect. And what I've done, since I'm not doing the kitchen as part of this video, I've created another example. So I'm going to create a process, or let's say there is an existing process where it takes so long to write your name. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to time how long it takes for someone to write their name in 4 corners of this presentation. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. So here we have someone typing their name, right? And they're doing it at a normal pace. They're not rushing, right? Because when you rush, you make mistakes. All right, so here they've written their name in 4 corners, and that actually took 12 seconds. So that is our existing current state. And for our improvement of this current state, we want to make an improvement of 50%, which is very aggressive, okay? We want to get this down to 6 seconds. And let's say we did. Let's say we went in our rapid improvement event, and we was able to take out waste in our process to get that name down to 6 seconds. And the way that we did it is we removed every other letter in the name, okay? And we reported out, and everyone was giving high fives. We made such a great event, great progress. We eliminated all this waste. We're able to get it down to 6 seconds, right? Now, the next Monday of follow-up, week 5, the operator goes out to do their job, right? In this case, the person who wrote their name goes to do their job again, and they're going to write their name every other letter. So now in follow-up, what we're going to do is see, is it working? Okay, so let's go ahead and try it. Here we can see the person is writing their name every other letter. And it seems like it's taking longer. And then it kind of starts to speed up. Okay, so Monday, and actually, let's say through the first week, we've gathered and collected data, and what we found is our confirmed state is 18 seconds. How can this be? We've reported out to leadership that we've made all these great changes, and now it's like worse, right? What do we do? And this is the case where people who don't understand the transformational process will say, I told you this wouldn't work. Let's just go back to the way we've always done it, right? And they have data to prove it, right? They say, it's taken 18 seconds. I told you this wouldn't work. This lean stuff never works. This is just a program of the month. But the thing is, that's why we have follow-up, is to stay the course, because what we're actually observing is a learning curve, right? And over time, this person will get used to writing their name every other letter, and they will get closer to that future state of 6 seconds. And that's the whole point of event follow-up, is to eliminate the problems and give time for that learning curve to happen, so that by the end of the follow-up period, you should be pretty close to that future state that you're trying to achieve. And at that point, if you're not, then yes, you can consider going back to the way it was. Maybe you didn't achieve 6 seconds. Maybe you only achieved 9 seconds. But the thing is, 9 seconds is better than 12. So you did make improvement, right? So it makes sense to stay the same. So that's the importance of rapid improvement event follow-up. The next thing I want to kind of tie all of this together, again, what we're doing here is going towards operational excellence. And I think it's important. Yes, we've talked about it in the Otto model, but it's a little bit deeper than that. There's tools that are a part of the structure that are making all of this work. And the way that I break it down is kind of like a timeline of things that the teams will go through. The first thing that you need before doing anything is stability. And a lot of times, what I do for stability is I set up a teaming process. That means you get the team to start functioning together. You have them meet, you have them talk, you have them work on issues together, just simple things to kind of get those basic employee needs under control and kind of weed out that chaos. And it helps improve the transparency of the business because you're feeding these teams information. It helps grow trust. It helps grow clarity within the organization. So the first step in anything is having some type of teaming activity. Now, if your business is stable, you may not need to be broken down into teams. This is just a suggestion. This is what I have found in my career to make the most sense. But that stability is important because all of this kind of builds on itself. It's kind of like math. This is kind of like the fundamental addition, subtraction. That has to be there before you start getting into algebra, right? And once that foundation is there, now you can start doing what I call Lean Phase 1, which is your core tools, the 4 core tools of Lean. We talked a little bit about this in video 4 and video 4 follow-up. 6S, which is what we put a lot of attention on. One-piece flow, standard work, and pull systems. This is extremely important to make sure that you get your process lean. And then as you lean that process, you start to see the problems. And that's why problem solving is your next step. You can start putting visual controls in place. Problem solving corrective action, or as I mentioned, sometimes I call it quality blitz. And then as you further down your journey, you have more, the low-hanging fruit goes away. You have the more difficult problems. That's where Six Sigma can come in, some more advanced problem solving, and really start to drive you towards 0 defects. Lean Phase 4 gets into the material flow strategy. In other words, now it's not just about how is your pull system working within the department, but how is it working across your entire facility? And then we get into even more advanced tools of total productive maintenance, quick changeover, a production preparation process, or 3P. And again, these are not tools as a white belt you would be familiar with, but I just want to give you a picture of where this can all go as we walk down and use these tools of operational excellence. And eventually, once you get the process leaned out, you reduce the problems, now you can really start to automate. Many times, people want to put robots, automation in place with bad processes, right? You're automating waste. That's not what you want to do. If you want the biggest bang for your buck, you have to lean your processes out manually, and then you can automate a process that is a really good process. That's why technology seems to be the last step. Otherwise, if you don't, the equipment that you use and put in place, you won't have TPM, so it'll be broken down, right? And like I said, you're going to be automating waste, automating variation. It's extremely important to get all of those major issues fixed first before you go down the path of automation. So this is kind of a model of how the tools are meant to work in terms of their transformative power. And that ties back into the Otto model, as I mentioned in the past, with the operational behavior. It's actually what links the operational behavior to the results. It's how you get the results. Those tools create the value. They create the ability of producing a quality product on time for a great price. Okay, so that will conclude everything kind of as a big picture. I hope this all makes sense in that regard. You have a lot of different things going on with continuous improvement and operational excellence. Hopefully we've been able to kind of clarify the importance of tying your choices to the laws of nature and the moral laws, right? Those principles, which will then allow individual behavior improvements, right? Because you're tying your values to great laws, and that transforms you as a person individually. And then as an individual, the more individuals you transform, the more operational behavioral you can integrate that into what you're doing with the operation, and then ultimately get great results. All right, so this concludes part 5. This is the last learning piece. The next video, video 5 follow-up, which will be the last video of this series, will take us back to the kitchen. We'll see the results of our rapid improvement events and also implementing 6S. You're not going to want to miss it. The results, I think, will shock you. And so definitely want to check out video 5 follow-up, which is the culmination and conclusion of this series. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you very much for listening. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. And don't be afraid to leave questions, comments, or suggestions. Until next time, God bless you.